Welcome in, Buff Nation, to another edition of Shoulder to Shoulder Colorado Live on the Voice of College Football Network with your hosts, Manny and Miles. Happy Friday. Make sure, as always, to follow us on X at Manny_303 and myself at Miles High Buffs, and follow our X channel account, Colorado VOCFB. You can catch today's show, if you're not catching it live, on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Believe, or wherever you get your podcasts. As a friendly reminder, we do have memberships available if you want to support the show, and we do have super chats now if you want to make sure that your comment gets seen. You don't have to do it, but it would help us keep the content going. As always, make sure you check out our Colorado store as well for merch on the VOCFB website. So happy Friday, Manny. How are you feeling on this wonderful Friday?
Man, it's a weekend. Can't complain. Feeling great. How about you?
Feeling good. Beautiful day here in Denver, which was, I'm loving the weather. And I've heard from a couple of people that we're not supposed to talk about the weather here in Denver because we don't want to jinx it. But feeling good. You know, I'm excited to get caught up on some Buffs updates after that wonderful episode we had with Adam last week. And yeah, just all around excited, you know, good Friday show.
I think too with the weather, I think it's okay to talk about. I think we need the snow because this has been the warmest winter I've ever been through. It feels every day is like in the 60s and 70s, which is extremely rare for the Boulder, Denver area. So
I know I've been saying that, like, because of this winter, I was thinking about not getting a ski pass for next year. But then again, the moment I do that, it's going to be the best winter of all time. So maybe we should talk about it, but I digress. Let's talk some Buffs football. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great. Yeah. I've been, I don't know what it is today. I felt really, fired up to talk about the Buffs today. I don't know what it is. The season's still so far away, but it's a little bit rejuvenated for some reason.
Yeah, I honestly think a good chunk of that comes from just the insights and everything we learned from Adam last week. You know, I think it's super cool when you get to have such a vocal presence and such a well-known figure in the Colorado football atmosphere to be able to come on our show and really give his insights. So that was super cool. And yeah, just I think part of it, we'll get into it, is like, I don't know how you feel on it, and we'll get into it, but the recruiting is really picking up. And so that's really exciting to see. I think some of the things that we're going to see with Coach Marion and his recruiting style are going to be really beneficial for the Buffs, but we'll get there when we get there. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and jump right into the Ralphie report. Sound good to you?
Yeah, I did have one more thing. I know Super Bowl didn't go your way. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on that, you know?
Yeah, it's good. I was hoping I could get away without having to talk about it.
Miles, I'm not rubbing it in, dude. Like I said, I'm a Raiders fan, and we are so far removed from a Super Bowl. Like, yeah. Just want to check on you all.
There's no rubbing it in. I went into that fully prepared for that to be the outcome. I think, as I kind of alluded to, I think I said it. You can go back and look at it. Is that I kind of felt that might have been the end of the road. They had a couple of games that were pretty close, or maybe a little bit lucky. And you look at some of the metrics that come out about their statistics against teams with winning records. It was like, yeah, it was kind of, you were playing with house money with how you got there in the first place. So I was never sweating it. It was more just a joy to see the Patriots back in the Super Bowl. So that was my win, at least.
Okay. Well, I just had to check in on you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Cool. Let's jump into the Ralphie report. Where's our favorite little banner we put up? Here it is. You got it? Yeah, let's go. Gotcha. Cool. So a couple of things we skipped from last week that I wanted to touch on, just because I think it is important to kind of keep up with just some Buffs adjacent topics. First one being former Buff Casey Roddick has been promoted to offensive line coach at Georgia State. Let me go ahead and throw this tweet up here really quick. So Casey Roddick, I think you played 1 or 2 seasons at CU. Do you remember off the top of your head?
Nope. I'm not even going to sit here and be like, I remember him. I do not remember him. So
Casey Roddick was on that 2022 team. So the 1-11 team, played offensive line. He ended up transferring to Florida State, played all 12 games with the Buffs, and had a couple of seasons prior that he played some seasons. And so, a lot of kind of newer Buffs fans may not know who Casey is, but and that's not a shot at you at all. More just like the general public. But it's just cool to see former Buffs getting opportunities to coach and be in that staying in the game essentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, it is always, you have a leg up anytime you play the position at such a high level. And, this is, was it Georgia State? I think you said.
Yep. GSU.
I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. Good for him though. Love that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Next one on the list. I'm going to skip this one here, but we're going to go into one that it's kind of a relevant topic that has been brought up amongst Buff Nation and kind of just some recruiting topics. But a little bit of a disappointing outcome that was announced recently for 3-star, borderline 4-star Reese Russell. Buff legacy, right? This is the brother of Brady Russell, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Out of Highlands Ranch, leaves Colorado out of his top 6. I think there had been a lot of discussion around improving the in-state recruiting with Coach Marion. I know Coach Marion, primarily a lot of what he's known about or known for is kind of the skill guys like running backs, wide receivers. Maybe there's some room to be done in terms of recruiting the offensive line, but what are your thoughts here in terms of like Colorado in-state recruiting versus, maybe missing out on a kid like this?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, and again, that's Valor Christian right there. Those of us in the Colorado, Denver area or that follow all of Colorado football, high school football know, yeah, that's a big time school. And again, you got to tap into those Valor Christians. You got to tap into those Cherry Creeks. Yeah, they gotta start building those relationships ASAP, because this is one that again should not get away from the state of Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Matt McChesney kid, a lot of discussion there and how people feel about his development. I think he develops good players. And but again, we wish him the best. You see the schools that are on his list. He's obviously
big time,
big game hunting, as they say.
Yeah.
So we wish the best to Reese, and hopefully he reconsiders maybe that top 6 when it becomes a top 3, we can sneak our way in there, but we'll see. Next on the list, let's talk about an actual Colorado Buffalo and some cool things that are developing behind the scenes, right? So we've talked a lot about the offensive line, filling that Jordan Seaton role, who's going to play guard, who's going to play tackle, where they're going to sit. And the interesting one, the most surprising one of the offseason, Javon McFadden, Jordan Seaton's cousin, comes into the Buffs from Ohio State, originally listed at 6'3", 295. Looks like he's added a good amount of muscle. So up to probably in the 320 range. Manny, what do you think that we could maybe see McFadden on the interior? Do you think he maybe stays on the outside? What are your thoughts?
I think you're going to see him at right tackle. It's just my
prediction.
Yeah. So that is mine. 25 pounds, right? Because he's 6'5", 6'6" somewhere around there.
Yeah, right in that range. Correctly.
You look at that, right? And I think where they kind of get in a bind with that last year was Zy Chrysler. That is a humongous person to start with, and secondly, that is a huge interior player that makes it really hard on the quarterback to see override as much as we want. But that is, typically your guards are going to range, not much higher than 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". It's hard to see over him. So I would like to say we would probably see him at right tackle is my guess. So but I do love the adding of weight. I mean, these dudes are coming in, with McFadden, right? He was a freshman last year coming in raw, still need time to develop, and hopefully getting rid of that freshman muscles, adding that, the college power 4 muscle now.
Yeah. And as a quick correction, just because I thought he was also in that 6'5" range, he's actually 6'3". So he might be 6'3", 220 or 320. Could be a competition. I think there's going to be a lot of competition on that offense.
You're looking at guard then, would be my just off the top of my head. I don't know why I had him at 6'5", 6'6", maybe because he was originally an offensive tackle right at Ohio State.
He was, yeah. And again, the 6'3", 295 was always a little bit concerning for anywhere on the offensive line, and so that being that young. But
he's a guard. He'll play guard.
Probably. Seems like it.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Sticking on the kind of offensive side of things, I'm not sure. Did you get a chance to catch the interview that our guy Philip Dukes did with Coach Marion the other day?
No, I didn't even know. Man, okay.
Oh, you got to check it out, man. It's awesome. Shout out to Dukes. Does great work.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot him a text and be like, bro, I didn't know you had Brendan Marion on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to Dukes. So, but man, he's love Dukes, man, love the dude.
This was I can't remember what this came out on the 9th. So this was like over the weekend. I had a college football 26 going. I was listening to this like a 45-minute interview. So I was, I had myself a little beer and was kicking back and listening to Coach Marion speak. And he's so both Dukes and Coach Marion are very well spoken. But the part I wanted to acknowledge with this was him saying that when he was at UNLV and the highly potent offense that they had there, with Maava, right? That's the one who transferred to USC.
Yep.
They had 9 guys with over 50 touches. And this is something that I think is really interesting in relation to the guys we brought in, the threats we have on offense. If you had to spitball, right? And I'm just going to put you on the spot here, right? 9 guys, 50 touches. Who are your 9?
DeKalen Taylor. Let's go. Jeez, man, See, I'm just kind of curious what they're going to do at receiver, right? So I would say DeKalen Taylor, you can lock that one in.
Sure.
See, Simeon Price, you can probably lock that one in.
Simeon Price is gone, remember?
I thought he won that. What am I thinking?
No, Simeon Price went to Oregon.
Oh my gosh, dude. Holy
cow. Okay, so we got DeKalen Taylor, Michael Welch.
Michael Welch.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were thinking.
Yeah, not Simeon Price. Yeah, I was like Michael Welch. I was almost gonna say Michael Welch left. Anyway, Michael Welch. I don't know how I feel about Quentin Gibson right now.
Quentin Gibson. We got DeAndre Moore. We've got Cam Perry, Danny Scudero, Joseph Williams.
Man,
two Sac State guys.
I want to say Quentin Gibson is gonna get there, but man, I don't know if there's enough touches to go around. And again, he's entering his sophomore year. I would say those 5 for sure that we named. And then after that, I'm kind of – how much do you – so let me ask you this. I'm going to throw it back on you.
Sure.
How much do you think tight end Zach Atkins, how much do you think they're going to use him?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that Zach Atkins probably would be in the 50-touch club. I think that in an offense like Coach Marion, from what I've heard, they tend to be very useful in the blocking game. But – for a young QB like Julian Lewis, I know it's super important to have that not check down option, but just like a safety net, right? Like just a big body that you can throw to over the middle, someone like that. So I think, admittedly, I think that you could see a scenario where he relies a little bit more on Zach Atkins early, like as he's still developing his awareness in the system. And then maybe once more games go on and guys get more, comfortable in their roles, the wide receivers start to ramp up their touches a little bit more. But
what do you think of Richard Young?
Richard Young could be another guy. I don't know if he's a 50-touch guy. I think like if I had to throw out 9 names, I'm thinking Joseph Williams, DeAndre Moore, Danny Scudero, Cam Perry, DeKalen Taylor, Michael Welch, Atkins. So that's 7.
7, yep.
7. Quentin Gibson.
You think he's going to get so? Is Ernest that including Campbell. Special like his punt return and kickoff?
It's not. I don't think it counts.
Doesn't count, but I could see him getting there with punt returns and kickoffs. Though
sure. I'm going to put over Quentin Gibson. I'm going to put Ernest Campbell.
Okay,
and then at my 9th spot, I'm going to put Damian Henderson.
Okay.
So that's 4 running backs, 5 receivers, or 3 running backs, 6 receivers.
Yeah.
5 receivers and a tight end. Sorry.
Go ahead. That would be because, 50, 60 catches for receivers really good at a seat, right? So, and we're talking jet sweeps. We're talking all these different formations, right, that they're going to run. So, and that just kind of goes to that they spread the ball out, right? At that, like everybody's involved in the game plan. So, I'm curious to see. I want to go back to that after spring ball.
Yeah, really good point. I think the last point I wanted to make on it was, there's been a lot of talk in his philosophy overall, Coach Marion's, is related to this idea of creating a 5th quarter. And so, speeding up the offense, getting more touches. And like, if that's the case, then you're going to see a lot of guys in those skill positions getting opportunities to thrive. So I'm not overly worried about it. I just want to kind of get your initial thoughts, but we'll come back to it. We'll review.
Ooh, this is a good one. Keith, what does it say? Keith
Tunstall.
Tunstall. Can you guys visualize seeing Bo Hughley and Zane in a double tight end? Tight end, Coach Marion using Zach like Raiders use Bowers as H-back in this go offense. Man, Brock Bowers that's a whole different dude, man. And I'm super biased on that. That is like, but I mean, gosh, that'd be fantastic, right? Like,
so you're saying Bo Hughley as your tackle, Zane and Zach as the two tight ends.
Yep.
And then I can see it. I think that they're like, and I said this when I did the depth chart video a couple of weeks ago, but I think you'll see some combination of like Zach and either Corbin and Zane when they do run some level of alternate personnel and they want to get more than one tight end on the field. I don't think Charlie Williams is a huge threat.
Yeah,
I could see the guy they brought in from UNC, Fisher Clements, 6'7", like, or 6'7".
I'm really excited for Zach Atkins though. Like you've seen flashes last year, and even sitting in our area 108. Hey, did you? By the way, today's the last day to renew your season tickets.
I did renew. Yes,
okay,
I did.
Yeah.
I renewed. I was early. Okay. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I'm in on this, man. Don't test my fandom.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that you don't need to jump off and make a phone call real quick so you don't miss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sitting in the stands and you watch him and he's just massive. He's quick with the ball, catches everything thrown at him. It's just, man, it almost feels like last season was a wasted opportunity with him.
Yeah.
And I guess we could say that about tons of positions and players, but I'm a big fan of Zach Atkins.
Yep. I think the overall the creativity of the offense is going to allow for lots of different personnel sets. I saw a play that the Dolphins ran from either 1 or 2 years ago where they had 3 running backs in the backfield. And I'm like, it could be so incredibly fascinating to see how they use the running back rooms and the tight ends in this type of offense, which have been historically underutilized in the Coach Prime system. But let's talk about one of the reasons I renewed my season tickets early. And one of the reasons I'm super excited about this. I wanted to show this. Shout out Kai at I Have Mad Flavor on X. Definitely a good follow. You can't see their tag up there, but that's who this was. Couple of screenshots from some of the well-off videos. I just want to highlight this, man. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't see this type of energy last season.
No, jeez, look at this.
You got QB1 over here, right in the middle of it. Yaya back here.
Yeah. You did not. We did not see this last year. This is it feels different. And again, we can come back to this a little bit, mid-season or whenever it is, but we did not see this. It was almost it was too quiet last year.
Too quiet. It's a really good way to explain. Yeah. You got Hakeem Williams over here, I think, going crazy. Yeah, they're going nuts, supporting their teammates.
Love it.
JoJo back here losing his mind. So it's I just wanted to share that because I think it's it's so important to see how the team is bonding and coming together in these early winter workouts.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love it. And then there was Hakeem Williams. We forget about him for some reason.
Yeah.
Dude, going back to the guys with 50 touches, would it shock you at all if Hakeem Williams somehow transformed into the number one receiver?
It would shock me if he was a number one receiver, 1,000%. Okay. I could see him pushing a 50 touch club if he was really took a giant leap, to be honest. And this has nothing to do with Hakeem in particular. He falls into the category of what I've said before, which is like, if not now, then when? It's kind of the Quincy Wiggins problem where it's like, if not now, then when? Yeah. I honestly, and somebody asked this a couple of weeks ago, was like, what are the chances we see 3 to 4 5'9" guys on the field at one time? And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a highly possible outcome.
Let me ask you this then. Most just pure raw talent in that receiver room.
DeAndre Moore.
Okay.
I think just like raw talent, I think it's DeAndre Moore. I think.
Where do you rank Hakeem Williams?
In just like pure
talent, no production, that just like you would just show up on a football field. Let's say we showed up to the practice field and the whole receiver room was out there working out. We don't know anything about him. and they're just out there doing their thing, running 40s, everything. Where would you catching footballs, running routes, doing all,
I'm going to say 4.
Okay. I would put him at 1,
You think pure talent?
Pure talent. That dude is,
I mean,
he's former 5-star. Gosh, man, I have that one. And again, that's, stars don't mean anything, but man, when they got him last year, I remember watching his high school film and I was like, what the hell? Like, what am I watching here? And even some of the clips he had at Florida State when he would catch the ball, you were like, what is happening here? Like, why is this dude not playing? Like, so it is. But again, raw talent, all this stuff doesn't mean, and all these stars doesn't make you into this great receiver. But I would probably 1A, 1B, pick one. DeAndre Moore, pick one of them, or Hakeem Williams.
Yeah, I mean, like the frame is so enticing, 6'2", 220. But I'm just like, yes, he's one of those guys when you get the ball in his hands, it's like, wow, he can really make a play. But I'm just like, he doesn't get the ball in his hands enough. No. It's either a separation issue, it's either a route issue, it's either an effort issue. It's one of those, reasons where I'm like, you could probably make that argument, yes, but at the same time, Savell Smalls was a 5-star defensive end, and True. So like it's not always how the stars
doesn't translate. Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. Next on the list, I want to talk about something that we've talked about a little bit, and I think is relevant to some of the conversations we've had recently. But you probably saw the news. Everybody's probably seen the news. After 4 appeals, Trinidad Chambliss was granted another year.
Yeah.
I have another tweet that I saved on this that has some perspective and talks about it a little bit, but give me your initial read.
I mean, I'm happy I get to watch him another year. I'm always going to be in the for the like 90% of the time in the corner of the player, the student athlete. I'm happy for him, because we have players that are like in year 7 or year 8 where it's like, what the hell are you still doing here? Cam Rising comes to mind. Cam Rising, sorry. That was the offensive lineman, right? Is that who I'm thinking of?
No, it was the Utah quarterback.
Cam Rising, though. Who's right?
Cam Rising. The Utah quarterback.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm thinking of Dalton Reisner. Sorry.
Yeah.
Completely off topic. But I love it. I think this is kind of what college football has become. And again, you sue enough, someone's going to say yes at some point, or sue or go to court. I mean, I'm always going to be in the corner of the kid. So I'm really, really happy with the outcome of this.
So that's so interesting. And this is somewhere that we disagree. I am genuinely on the side of the player in most instances. I am also on the side of like due process being final. Like I'm just one of the people where like I kind of hate the idea of like this right here where it's like denied, he gets denied. Yeah. They just keep appealing it to the point where it's like you eventually find somebody who says yes. Yeah. And I'm on the perspective of this is, yes, you could say that he may deserve another year because of like a medical red shirt that he had when he was at Ferris State, but like they've got Deuce Knight in waiting, right? Like they've got a 5-star quarterback that they brought in from the transfer portal. At a certain point, it's like I look at it partially from the perspective of like, what are you afraid of? Like, what is necessarily holding you back from going to the NFL? Like, why do you want to keep doing this? And you have a guy that was brought in to be the next in line. I don't know. I to an extent, I'm like, I get real this part right here, complain, appeal, and sue until you get a result that's your way. That's the part that I get concerned about. And I'm like, if you want to go for an appeal on the first try and it gets like, and you get it, good, great. Like, awesome. If it gets denied, I think we just got to like say, sorry. I don't know. That's just my perspective on it.
Yeah. So with Deuce Knight, what does this mean now in your opinion? What happens? Because one, I think this is the highest Trinidad Chambliss's draft stock's ever going to be.
I agree.
Two, Deuce Knight has more talent, right? Again, going back to raw talent and everything like that. Like, what do you do here, right? If you're Ole Miss?
That's a good question. And I actually saw a tweet that said that Deuce Knight deleted all of his Ole Miss stuff off his Instagram. Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of where I like, admittedly, I would be kind of pissed. And you could semi make the argument that this was similar to like a Julian Lewis, Caden Salter thing, where it's like you think you're coming in to be the guy, and then they bring in somebody else, or like somebody else comes in to step in front of you. I don't know. Like if I'm Deuce Knight, I'm not happy. Like, you took a chance to leave Auburn and to go to Ole Miss, who seemingly needed a quarterback. It's like, what is he supposed to do now? He either unenrolls and goes to try to find somewhere else and throws a huge fit, or he just sits as his second year after coming off like some good performances while he was at Auburn. So I don't know. It's concerning to me on just how this came to be overall.
Yeah, that sucks. I wonder if they'll open the portal window for him since it's like 5 days out. I don't know.
I don't think you can open it for one guy. Yeah.
The NCAA, they have no legs to stand on at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they do. That sucks though. So,
yeah. Poor guy. Let's switch back to some Buff stuff. This came out from PFF. We talked about it a little bit, just highest graded transfer defensive tackles from this offseason. Number one, in relation to the Trinidad Chambliss and getting a waiver, Ezra Christensen at 88.6 when he was at New Mexico State. And then sitting at number 3, Santana Hopper at 80.2 coming from Tulane. So pretty cool to see there. Manny, when I did the depth chart video, I kind of have some maybe differing thoughts in terms of how they're going to go about this 3-4, 4-3, 4-2-5. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I love it. It's talent, right? Obviously, and it's proven talent has right. Anything that this is a great sign, but we don't know how it's going to shake out yet as far as 3-4, 4-3, because again, we've talked about this even, during the portal, we were talking about the DN profiles that they were getting, right?
Uh-huh.
But then we look at it, right? Like, and just correct me if I'm wrong, who plays that nose tackle position?
Yeah, that's the part that I think is really missing.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious what they do, or is it like more of like a, their ends are more of a hybrid that they're still in the box, but at the end of the line of scrimmage, end of the line of scrimmage, just up, you don't know who's going or coming. And again, that's still technically a 3-4, but it's, I don't know what you do if they're going to be playing like, it's almost, you want to call it like a 2-3 look with your two edges up and you don't know who's coming or going. So it's kind of wild though.
Yeah, I mean, from what I could tell, I agree with you. I think my main concern that I identified is I don't think you have a true nose tackle in this. And you have Samu who's like 385, but like too big, I think, at this point to really be like versatile as a nose tackle. And then you've got Tyler Moore, who played nose tackle at Coastal Carolina, but like didn't grade all that well at a lower level. Could be the guy. Who knows? Maybe he comes to Colorado and it's just like a beast, right? Like I think he's 6'2", 305. But Ezra, I think, is 265, and I think Hopper is like 250. So again, you are looking at that kind of hybrid, not really a true defensive tackle. A little bit like you would love if there was a true nose tackle there, but at the same time, I agree. Like the ends they've brought in sit more with an end to me as opposed to a hybrid outside linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know that many of them have much experience dropping into coverage, coming and going. You have this kind of situation where it's like a Villy or like a Toby, those guys feel like true defensive ends that I'd prefer almost to do a 4-3 on, and get a couple more linebackers on the field. I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I just know it's a good problem to have right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on the less fun side of things, let's talk about some beef. Let's talk about some drama. Christian Foria. Former Colorado player, correct?
Yep. Tight end.
Yep. Tight end. Son went to CU, did not make the final cuts of the first year of the Deion Sanders team. Caleb Foria went to Delaware as a tight end. Had some interesting things to say about Coach Prime and how he's running his program. Do you want to read the quote or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, I can read it. I was just trying to read this comment right here.
Yeah.
We'll get to it though. He said, "I'm just not a fan of the coach. I'm not." And again, this is reference to talking about Coach Prime. Just not a fan of the coach. I'll never be a fan of the coach. I love the school, and this isn't me picking on Deion Sanders because I pick on Joe Gibbs. The worst coach I ever had was Joe Gibbs, so my picking on Deion Sanders is nothing. This is the part. I just don't like the way he coaches football. I don't think he's very bright. I don't think he can manage a game. I think there's a lot of flash, but I think there's no substance, and he's got a lot of people like brainwashed. And we'll see what he can do. So essentially just I don't like it.
Yeah. I think and I tweeted it at the time. My first response to this was, "Oh, like we're doing this again. Like we're doing the whole thing where we just like come out of the woodworks during the offseason and start, shitting on Coach Prime again. Like that's how we know that we're in the middle of February. But I think it's tough because I don't think that this past season did a lot of good for the whole Deion Sanders is a good college football like narrative. And I'm not saying that he's not, of course. I'm saying I don't think it helped persuade people that were already against him. Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it helped convert anybody. I do think, and I think this is probably a well-observed take, is like there were definitely game management issues. I'm not going to sit here and say that every timeout was used correctly and that, the offense was overly creative. But it's the part of like, I don't think he's very bright and it's all flash, but no substance. That's the part where I'm like, okay, you don't understand the intricacies of how this team operates. You don't understand how he really develops his guys and his players and the love that he puts into these kids. And that's where it feels like you're just using a name for clicks. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's just February. Again, you don't understand. And again, he's protecting his kid because he thought his kid should be playing there. And I get that 110%. I don't know how I would take that. I mean, maybe some more. I don't know. I don't know how I would take that, right? Former Buff, your kid's there playing. Deion shows up. You're excited. So, there's a little bit of, right. He's a little bit upset of the way the situation played out with his son. And again, whether you like it or not, but to me, it just comes off as my son didn't make the team and I'm pissed off. So I don't like Coach Prime. That's just
It reminds me a lot of the Athletic piece that came out 2 years ago when it was about all the guys who didn't make the team and they, all of the things that they had to say. And it's like, it kind of just gives off, what's the word? Bitter X. That's the word I'm trying to say. Like, that's kind of where I get it. And I just, again, you can talk about the football stuff all you want. When you get into the like character, if he's bright, if he's like, doing the right thing for the university, that's the stuff where I'm like, you clearly don't pay attention and you are just bitter in all of this.
And what sucks? That was Christian Fourier. Man, that dude was a really, really good player and a really good tight end for Colorado. And he was a very good tight end in the NFL. So when he played for the then AFC West Seattle Seahawks. So
yeah, it's tough to see, and I do think that there is an element of I wish that former Buffs were involved a little bit more on the on just being involved in the program, brought around practices and stuff like that. Because I think that if they really saw the way Coach Prime instills wisdom into kids and really takes care of them and wants them to succeed as people, I think that's something where you're like, honestly, on a borderline, at times I kind of say, fuck the football shit. I'm just like, I just, the fact that he's getting them to graduate, that they all have, you've got multiple kids with 4.0s, and it's like setting kids up for the next chapter, I think I know football matters, but I also think that the way he conducts his program is also important.
And life matters more than between the football field, right? And again, I think everybody, especially this time of year, right? We're in full swing draft now with the Super Bowl over. It's like, this kid, if he goes to the NFL or not every kid goes to the NFL. It's, what is it, like less than 1% make it actually to really the NFL. Totally. And I think it's less than that actually make it onto a roster. It is. Yeah, it is. It's
unfortunate.
It really is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if Caleb said anything when he left. Like, I don't remember if he was part of that article. Obviously, his dad is kind of speaking for him. This isn't a Gavin Cold situation. But it is kind of also like your son is his own person. He's a 25-year-old at this point. Why are you speaking on the coach? You know what I mean? I don't know. I digress.
I mean, sometimes too, you just want to be back in the spotlight a little bit as well. Right.
Yeah.
And that's just like, right, Miles, if you would say something crazy and maybe we get in the spotlight, show blows up. Like, all right, Miles, good job, man. Good job, Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start just throwing out haymakers and
Crazy
hope that it
stuff.
gets us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back into some fun stuff. Let's get back into talking about the Buffs and recruiting and where we're going. We have a 2027 commit, Manny. It's crazy to think
this is our second one now, right? No, it was 26.
No, because we lost Dolph. We lost
Dolph. Sorry, I was thinking of he was a 26 just late last week's commit, wide receiver.
The Jacob Page or no. Hold on, I got it here in the notes. Why am I blanking on this? So much has happened. It was from Jacob Swain.
There you go. Receiver.
I knew it was a Jacob.
Had connections with Brennan Marion, so
he was a 2026 kid.
Yep. I like this. It's Devon Derrico, right?
Yes, Derico, Dave. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't ask me. I'm the worst with names, man.
Okay.
You can't come to me for this.
Have you had a chance to watch this kid?
I have not.
Okay.
I've been keeping up more with some offers, but tell me what you know.
Oh man, so love this. So 5'9", 165, right? That is below that 6 foot coach prime.
Interesting.
I'm almost curious now. And this is where my mind's going. Did D'Angelo Pons change the narrative, right? A little bit for other coaches. Indiana is like breaking all these different molds and narratives, and is every Indiana now where people are like, we're going to be like Indiana? But I'm just kind of curious with this one.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I can say that Pons influenced this specific commit in any way. I do think that I'm hopeful that they're reevaluating that entire mindset. But either way, I mean, I'm just glad to see that we are getting proactive with our commits and that we're going after guys early. Did you have a chance to give a scouting report or understand?
Yeah. So I'll just go over a couple of things. 25. So last season as a junior, he had 34 tackles, 9 TFLs, 7 pass breakups, 5 sacks as a corner, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumble. And then so that's his junior year, 24, 64 tackles, 10 tackles for losses, 17 PBUs, 4 sacks, and 1 INT as a sophomore. Now, this is just a little bit about him. So feisty DB, so that blends slick man coverage skills with impressive contact. So again, I'm just telling you, this is from off of 24/7. But when you watch, I like to watch the film with it to compare them. But I agree with all of this. There was a couple bullet points I just deleted. I don't remember what they were because I didn't agree with after watching him. So this is important. So stays on top of routes. So a lot of the time you're going to see players get beat a lot or at this level, I should say, when you are this good, that fast, you kind of have that makeup speed on everybody. Right. And this is not the case. He is fundamentally sound, good with his hands, good open field tackler, plays a lot bigger than that 165. As you can see with the sacks, I would say I did see this is one of the ones, but the ceiling might be highest in the nickel. I don't like that piece of it. And this is one that I wanted to highlight. It is so hard to talk about this with a, with a, what is he, 17-year-old kid right now? He is still growing. And again, I think where a lot of people get tripped up on Miles is they want to translate this to the NFL right away. A 5'9" corner is not that small in college, if that makes sense. It really isn't. So I like him, just see where he develops. But again, he's going to have to stay there and he's going to have to work his ass off to develop though.
Yeah, it's great analysis. And I'll get a chance to check out his film as the year goes on. But I think the interesting part that stood out to me was, the 19 TFLs as a corner and then the 24 PBUs. So a very versatile cornerback. You don't typically see that. 19 TFLs for a corner is pretty good at coming out of high school. 9 sacks. Yeah, that's the other part too. Yeah. And he's all over the field, right? 9 sacks, 4 interceptions over the 2 years, fumble, 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery. So a guy that's just everywhere. And so I think this falls into the heart over height category. And I'm hopeful that, he obviously sticks with the Buffs. Maybe he grows an inch or two and they just develop him into the guy that they, really want to see. as a lockdown corner.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm curious if he, again, with the portal, it's so hard to say, but if he sticks around and gets developed, I think you'll see him be a pretty good corner for Colorado, at least as a starter 1 year.
Sure, absolutely. Cool. Let's move on to some visit news. We got a couple of visits that were announced recently. Super exciting.
Yep.
The first one, LaMarcus Bug Jones. This is a 4-star out of Jackson, Mississippi, Callaway High School, 164th ranked player nationally, and the 18th ranked offensive tackle. He's coming to visit on May 15th, which, Manny, I both feel like that is so far away, but also just like right around the corner. Like, I just feel like it's going to be tomorrow and it's going to be May, but had a chance to look at LaMarcus yet, and kind of what are your thoughts on him coming in for a visit?
Yeah, offensive linemen are, especially at the high school level, when they're this good as a 4-star, they look like the biggest, most baddest player on the field, right? So again, offensive tackle, this would be a big get. You see that 4-star ranked 18th. That dude's going to probably start flirting with the 5-star before the season's all said and done. That would be a big time get. Like, this would be, I would absolutely love this get. And again, I get so excited for these I love high school football. I get so excited for the recruiting aspect, but that transfer portal, they have to figure out a way to sustain these players and keep them, if that makes sense. So I would be a big time get, though. I would love this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you said, it's good to see them getting offers out early, getting guys on visits. I think, as I've always said, I think building these relationships is important. It's interesting. Again, I'm a graphics guy, so it's interesting that they use the Shador as the as like the official. You'll see that this comes up repeatedly, but yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, the measurables are great. 6'5", 285, coming out of Mississippi. They seem to really like their offensive linemen out of Mississippi and their players in general. But it's good. I'm excited about it. On the other side of the line, we have another 4-star coming to visit, King Thibodeau, which I'm a sucker for names. Sick name. Incredible. King Thibodeau, like, just incredible. Looks like he's coming to visit in June. Again, so far out. But what do you know about King?
So watch a little bit of his tape. Again, he's out of Garland, Texas. This is Lakeview Centennial High School. This is like the cream of the crop there, right? Like we talked about. Mecca football is played there and in this area where he's part of that. Just a fantastic player, 194 nationally, 25th defensive lineman overall. So he's 6'3", 250 pounds. So he earned first team all district honors as a junior in 25. So racked up 75 tackles, 20 TFLs, 11 sacks, 27 QB pressures, and 4 forced fumbles. So, and he also had 6 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even realize that. I hadn't seen that. That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. So I absolutely love this. This would be a big time get. You're looking at an edge player here. So I know they put him as D line. He'll be an edge player though at the next level. And
I mean, unless he puts on significant weight, but I agree. I mean, 6'2", 260. I'm curious, was he playing tight end? Do you know this? Did you see these?
No.
I'm like, where did they have him catching passes?
Yeah, I think they had him at tight end. And I mean, why wouldn't you, right? This dude is like he's one of those dudes that will come in, kind of like you saw London Merritt do, and he'll play a lot. He will play a lot as a freshman if he does decide to commit to Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great to see. And again, I think I'm kind of on the perspective of I think in my personal ideology with this, I tend to think the 5 stars are more who's got the most money for me types. The 4 stars tend to be a little bit more about fit. 3 stars are kind of like who wants me, so I think the 4 stars, I like them going after these 4-star guys who might be maybe a little bit under recruited and trying to get them on campus and just, again, really developing that relationship early.
Yeah. And he is one that will be a 5-star.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But if you can get there early before he is, hopefully, then you can get a better chance with him.
Yep, absolutely. And get that letter of intent signed.
ASAP. Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And again, if you guys are seeing a pattern here, we're going to go on to the next one. We've got another visit offer. The graphic is just so funny to me. We've got Khalil Taylor May. Tell us about Khalil.
Khalil, so 5'11", 180 pounds, so 4-star out of Pittsburgh, PA. So Pine Richland High School, 103rd nationally, 15th wide receiver. So 2024, so they didn't have a ton on his 25, but KDKA Super 7 2A Player of the Year, Century Conference Player of the Year, helped Seton LaSalle go 11-1 and reach the. So it's basically the championship game in Philly. So had caught 51 passes for 932 yards and 22 touchdowns, and also had 2 pick sixes on defense.
Pretty cool. I like it. And again, another 4-star guy, a little bit more East Coast centric. We had 2 guys, Mississippi and Texas, but looking at Pittsburgh now, 103 ranked nationally, 15th ranked wide receiver. I'm like, that's kind of to me like the sweet spot of where we should be looking. Is that when I again, video game, understand that totally different. But when I play college football, the video game, I look for those guys that are like slightly under recruited, sit in that somewhere between like 10 to 30 range in their position as my guys that I'm really going after early. So 5'11", 180, 22 touchdowns is great. And then the kickoff return touchdown is, we love our versatile receivers.
There was, so this is kind of a weird. So last year at this time, so we'll go off of some numbers I ran last year and looked up. So I love the recruiting, as you guys all know, but do you know what area produces the most up until last season? I don't know what it is this year. So up until the end of the 2024 season, which area produced the most All-Americans? So like first, second, right? Do you know which area?
Wow, what a question. This is probably going to be very wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to say California.
It's Pennsylvania. So there is this
no way
Philadelphia, Pittsburgh area. But again, so think where they were born, right? So you start thinking about that a little bit more, and where they played. It was the Pennsylvania area. So more so Philadelphia, because then you have prep schools and all these different places where these kids end up at for their senior years. It is the most ridiculous stat. And if you look at and here's another Pittsburgh football is very, very weird in the fact that they always produce really good pros because they're right there in the middle of that area, the University of Pittsburgh, right? You have your Larry Fitzgerald, Darrelle Revis's, LaShawn McCoy. It is insane. It is this weird thing that happens. I have no idea how it happens though.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Aaron, if I did hear it correctly, or if I listened to the interview, Coach Marion has pretty strong ties in Pittsburgh.
That makes sense. Yep. And Aaron Donald's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So it's
they got ball players.
They absolutely do.
I learned something new today, which is cool.
There you go.
All right, cool. I want to take a quick pause because we've been screen sharing and yapping away here on this beautiful Friday. I want to say thank you all for being here. Happy Friday. Happy pre-Valentine's Day for all of you who celebrate or have a reason to celebrate. If you don't have someone to celebrate with, Manny and I will be your Valentines, your Palentines, I guess. So thank you guys for being here, and we appreciate all the likes, the comments, the subscriptions are willing to give us. We do a lot to put this show together, and so appreciate you guys sticking with us and hanging out on this Friday.
Yep, absolutely appreciate you guys a ton.
Let's breeze through some offers, right? So we did not get a chance to talk through offers last week because of the Adam interview. So I want to go through. I'm going to run through really quickly. Class by class, grade by grade, and we're just going to breeze through, and then you tell me your thoughts after I get through them. Does that work for you?
Yep.
Cool, because there's a lot in here. I want to preface, we have offered a lot of kids in the last 2 weeks, so this comes from the last 2 weeks up until now. First one on the list, we've got Kadarius McMiller, the 4-star running back out of, let me share my screen. Kadarius McMiller, we have a 4-star running back out of Tyler, Texas, 6'1", 196 pounds, receives an offer from Colorado football and Deion Sanders and Coach Ruff. Cool. Next on the list, we have 2027 4-star Gabe Jenkins out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 6 foot 187. Let me, I think if I zoom in more, we can, there we go. There we go there. Cool. We got Gabe Jenkins, again, 4-star free safety out of Pittsburgh. Once again, looking at Pittsburgh, which is pretty cool. We've got 4-star defensive lineman, Ben Shoemaker.
Yep.
Ben Jarvis.
Ben Jarvis. I think, isn't that kind of like what the Patriots running? Ben Jarvis, Green Alice years ago.
Okay, honestly, great point. I forgot about that. I didn't know there was an I in there. So that's where that got me tripped up. 4-star defensive lineman out of Ackerman, Mississippi, 6'3", 285. Yep. We also have another 4-star defensive lineman. This is Caden Robinson Vickers. Caden Robinson Vickers is out of Dunellen, Florida, 6'3", 260. Another 4-star these are all 2027 kids. 2027 4-star cornerback, Keyshawn Telfair. Keyshawn,
I think, right? That's how.
Out of Euclid, Ohio, 6 foot 160. I'm just gonna get so many tabs open while I run through these. Well, again, we're still going on the 2027 4-stars. We've got 2027 4-star wide receiver Kyron Caldwell out of Lake City, Florida, 6'1", 175. We've got 4-star linebacker. This is, where am I? Colton McKibben out of Carlsbad, New Mexico, 6'3", 215. Again, 4-star linebacker. We've got 4-star tight end Jordan Karhoff out of Columbus, Ohio's 6'4", 215. And then of the 4-stars, rounding him out in the 2027 class, Rion Jackson out of Annapolis, Maryland, 6'4", 218. So to quickly recap, there was 9 4-stars that have been offered in the last 2 weeks, 2 defensive linemen, a free safety, a running back, a cornerback, a wide receiver, a linebacker, a tight end, and a defensive end. What are your thoughts on that just general grouping so far?
Yeah, I think, like you said, you got to attack these 4-stars. They're going to be more realistic to get, right, without breaking the bank. Again, CU's not going to be able to compete with your Ohio States financially, but I do love the attention to the trenches, as always, right, on the defensive side of the ball. Yep. And I'm almost curious with Ryan Jackson right here, the 4-star D end from Maryland. 218 is his size. That's
I let me double check because
I'm like, what the hell happened there?
I know, unless I saw Annapolis Edge on his 247 page, he's listed as 6'4", 218.
Damn. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna go have to watch some. Yeah, he looks about 218.
Yeah, maybe a little bit skinny. He's got some offers. He's leaning towards Virginia Tech.
Those are big time too. So
yep, Auburn, Duke, Florida, Georgia. Like he's got everybody. Looking to get him. So who knows? And these numbers could be wrong. 100%.
Yeah. And then I just the D lineman is where it starts, and then I like the attention to linebacker there, Colton McKibben. Again, those areas that Colorado struggled with, D line and cornerback. Right. D-line and linebacker in the prime era, right? That's been the tough spots.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things I'd identified when I did that map was like you're hoping to get a little bit more tight ends offered, some linebackers offered, but I like them throwing in the occasional corner free. It's diverse, which is pretty cool. We're getting a lot of different positions out with offers. And if you look at the offers that have come out, if you did catch those when I was breezing through it, a lot of coaches are getting involved in the actual recruiting side. There's not just Coach Marion. It's not just Coach Box. A lot of the actual position coaches are getting out there, throwing the offers on the players that they believe in.
Right. Yep. And absolutely. Cam. Yep. Put on more size over the next year. And he will.
Totally.
He will. And that size is probably off. It's just my guess.
His page, I brought it up here. He says he's 220, but that's his own account. So we'll see.
Okay.
Cool. Let's move to the 3-stars. So these are all 3-stars that have been offered again in the last 2 weeks. I want to make sure that we don't have our guy on there, but first one on the list is 3-star athlete Brooklyn Bailey out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, 5'11", 162. Next on the list, we have 3-star defensive end Cedric Marsh. Hold on, let me zoom out. I zoom in so much on these that I want to make sure you get the whole picture in here. 3-star defensive end Cedric Marsh out of Waxahachie, Texas. I'm hoping.
No idea.
6'5", 230. We've got Isaiah Alvarez. He lists himself at the 4-star, but he's a composite 3-star. 3-star wide receiver out of Ramsey, New Jersey, 6', 160. We've got 2027 3-star offensive lineman, Bryson Hurt out of Gainesville, Georgia, 6'4", 300. It's a good size on him.
Yep.
Got 3-star defensive lineman. This one came in yesterday, Kyron Haywood. He is from Denton, Texas, 6'1", 270. We got 3-star quarterback, Jamison Roberts. He is out of Saraland, Alabama, 6'3", 190. We've got Kenson Sullivan, 3-star defensive back out of Stafford, Virginia, plays both corner and safety, 6'1", 190. And then we have OU commit. So interesting. We've offered a couple of guys who are committed elsewhere. Devin Robertson, 3-star defensive lineman, committed to Oklahoma out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 6'1", 333 pounds. With that grouping there, when we look at the 3-stars in 2027, what are your thoughts?
First one is the one from Highlands Ranch, right? So that is, I want to say Mountain Vista is probably what you're looking at there. Really good high school.
Mountain Vista. Yep.
Okay. So very good. That's a really good team. They have a quarterback that is, gosh, I should remember his name. Quarterback going to CSU. I wouldn't be shocked over the next year that if the Buffs do offer I can't remember his name, but really good. Like him. Yeah, I like this offer and again, keeping it in state. So that is, first one that jumped off to me. And then there was I think that was the one that really stood out. Not a lot more. Not. Yeah,
I do like. I'm personally kind of a big fan of 3-star offensive linemen. Bryson Hurt. I like 6'4", 305. He lists himself as a 7-foot wingspan. I know. I'm like, I saw the measurables on that, and I'm like, this could be a guy.
Yeah.
Some of the other guys, I mean, like Jamison Roberts is picked up a lot of offers recently, 6'3", 190. And then
I like him because then you start thinking Brendan Marion. This is Brendan Marion.
Exactly.
Right? Yep.
Totally. And he's gotten a lot of offers. He's gotten a lot of awards recently. 4.3 GPA, which is pretty cool when you're
rolled down to his first. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, so 3,070 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 21 rushing touchdowns, 58 total, 73% completion, only 5 interceptions. We'll have to break down the film if he ends up committing, but definitely. I love highly productive 3-stars. Maybe I'm getting into the Indiana idea, but like I love the highly productive 3-stars.
Well, that's where you get the most bang for your buck.
Totally.
Honestly, throughout history, but I love that. Jamison Roberts, just looking at that without watching the film and kind of looking at the stats and everything there, that's Brendan Marion go offense all over it.
Yep. And then the last one I really like in this 3-star is the OU guy. 333 at that age is big. Clearly Oklahoma sees something in him and we're making a late push. I guess not really even late, but I think that could be a guy that, we take a chance on, see if he's really committed or if he's just, got his eyes looking elsewhere.
Maybe there's your nose tackle right there.
Could be. Cool. Before we get into 2027, kind of want to get your thoughts, Manny, just in general of like, in terms of overall 2027 focus. Again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 4-stars and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 3-stars that have been offered in the last 2 weeks. So 17 total guys. In the 3-stars, we've got one offensive lineman, 2 defensive linemen, 1 DB, 1 QB, 1 wide receiver, 1 athlete. Like, again, all over the field, How do you feel like they're attacking in this 2027 class?
Yeah, I think I'm almost curious now though, like how this is going to shift. There's no 5-star offers, right? As of right now.
As like in the last 2 weeks, there
Last 2
haven't
weeks.
been. But we have, I think, a
There-
couple out. Like we had some 2027 from like earlier, like the kids that have mostly already committed, mostly quarterbacks and a couple of running backs.
Yeah, and I guess the reason I asked that is, yeah, in the last 2 weeks, I'm just curious though how much they're really going to invest moving forward. I wonder if it's even going to be less into these high school players, just because it's the portal is that was unreal. Like the last couple years have been unreal, but this year, holy cow, that was crazy. Do you know what I mean? That was absolutely crazy. My other thing from seeing this, outside of like how much emphasis they're going to put on this, is one of the things I've been hitting over and over and over again is they are still not recruiting California, which is a big time. Yeah, I struggle with that.
There was a couple offers I'd seen. They were mostly, I think, quarterbacks, if I remember correctly, but they were old offers and they were all Southern California, like right in the LA area. So would love to see them expand that. I agree with you. I want to move on down to, we're still in 2027 here, but this is actually the most interesting part. I'm not going to share all of these because I feel like it's going to be a headache to watch me jump through all of them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unranked 2027 offers that have gone out in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to breeze through them really quick here and tell me if anybody jumps out to you, okay? So you got 2027 unranked defensive lineman Mitchell Turner out of Louisville, Mississippi. Louisville, whatever. 6'3", 275. We've got unranked wide receiver Ryan Ferdinand out of West Palm Beach, Florida, 6'1", 190. Unranked athlete Marquise Fennell out of Valdosta, Georgia, 5'10", 175. Unranked tight end Parker Newman out of Seaverville, Tennessee, 6'5", 210. Unranked defensive end Jaron Allen II out of Cedar Hill, Texas, 6'4", 225. Unranked tight end Matthew McIntyre out of Florence, Alabama, 6'4", 230. Unranked defensive lineman Kenny Fairley out of Fairburn, Georgia, 6'1", 280. Unranked tight end, I say it like it's not, they're all unranked. Carter Blackwell out of Leesburg, Georgia, 6'4", 210. Unranked cornerback Miguel Wilson out of Mobile, Alabama, 5'10", 170. And then unranked corner, 3-star. We already covered him. That was our commit. He's a 3-star, not an unranked guy. When I say all these, like, so 9 total unranked offers in the last 2 weeks. What are your thoughts?
Maybe these are guys that are looking to build again, that they know are going to stay on campus, that right, because of the low ranking system. And again, you look at, what is it, the last 2 number 1 overall picks were unranked, right? Fernando Mendoza was unranked coming out. Cam Ward was. The star system is only as good as the evaluator, right? And again, I what I immediately go to is Jaron Allen II, Cedar Hill, Texas, right? Because again, that's a school I'm familiar with in Texas. Then you look at West Palm Beach, Florida, wide receiver Ryan Ferdinand. So those kind of guys, and Miguel Wilson, Mobile, Alabama. So these places that I'm more familiar with as far as like high school football goes. Oh, and then Marcus Fennell right there with Georgia. Georgia is a blue blood.
Say Valdosta in particular. I know they've been crushing it recently.
So that's kind of my take with it. I guess that's what I see.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, I'm like, it's really interesting to see this be like much more of an emphasis than it has been in years past. I don't know how many true like 0-star unranked guys that we've really brought in years past, but again, you're looking at a lot of defensive linemen there. So 2 defensive linemen, a defensive end, 3 tight ends. So 3 unranked tight ends. So maybe they're looking for another situation. Why am I blanking on his name? The guy that flipped to Miami, Gavin Mueller. He was a 3-star, bumped to a 4-star, but like I think they see a couple of these guys 6'5", 210, 6'4", 230, 6'4", 210, where they can really build a mold, a specific type of player out of these guys. But it's just so interesting to see them really pursuing these unranked guys very vigorously.
Yep, absolutely.
We're going to breeze through the rest of these here. We've got a couple of 2028 guys. Okay. we got a question here. Where are these unranked guys from? I remember a few cities. I was wondering if the unranked guys are from smaller, lesser known towns with much less resources or notoriety. No. See, that's the part we're getting at here is Louisville, Mississippi, West Palm Beach, Florida, Valdosta, Georgia, Sevierville, Tennessee, Cedar Hill, Texas, Florence, Alabama, Fairburn, Georgia, Leesburg, Georgia, Mobile, Alabama, and Miami, Florida.
And I think with this, so what I do know is they'll rank their 250, 300. And again, just because they're not ranked doesn't mean that they don't deserve a 4 or 5 star. It's just that, I think Adam explained that lot. I think he was kind of talking, but it's they can't rank, 1,000 players. That is really, really difficult to do. That is the reason for it. But no, a lot of these guys are not coming from smaller areas, anything like that. It's just kind of the way it works. Some of these kids are really, really good, but don't go to all like the Under Armour camps, the Huddle camp, all these different things to get measurables done. So that plays a part as well.
Yeah. And for the record too, just so people know, I use 247 when I pull these rankings from. It's very possible that On3 has them as a 3-star, and I just didn't get a chance to double check all of them. But I'm basing this off of 247 ranks, and as I've said in the past, 247 is not nearly as covered in terms of like the rankings that they give out to guys. When On3 tends to have a much more thorough analysis of players. So, if any of these become much more serious and they maybe commit or like we're trending towards it, we'll do a deeper dive and give you a full understanding there.
Yep.
Okay. A couple of 2028 offers went out. Again, I'm not going to actually I will, because these ones are kind of notable. You asked about 5-stars, and we've had a couple of 5-star offers go out in the last 2 weeks. First one being Braylon Clark. He's a 5-star wide receiver in the 2028 class. Hold on. Let me get my screen share back up here. There we go. Braylon Clark, 2025 5-star wide receiver out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 6'3", 188. Getting an offer from the Buffs, which is super cool. We've got 2028 5-star safety, James Foster. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Hold on. There we go. James Foster. He is a 5-star safety out of Lancaster, Texas, 6'1", 195. We've got 5-star running back, Zayden Jernigan. This is actually the number 1 running back in 2028. Also out of Louisville, Mississippi, 5'11", 195.
Bedford, yeah.
And then we've got 2028 4-star Braylon Bedford out of Vardaman, Mississippi, 5'10", 160.
I mean, star chasing there, right? I hope they get Zayden Jernigan right. Like that would be big time. But again, I think with these 5-stars, it's more relationship building for what's to come down the road.
Totally. Yeah. There was one other guy that got offered, unranked 2028 QB Titus Heward. Yep. Out of Littleton, Colorado. Do you know anything about this guy?
Yes, I do. So Titus Heward. This is the son of Brock Heward, former NFL quarterback.
Got it. Okay, cool.
This is his son. He plays at Valor Christian. I'm pretty sure he's at Valor Christian, right? That's what his profile.
Yeah, let me double check.
I'm pretty sure it's Valor. Yeah, it has to be.
Valor.
Valor. Okay. Yeah, Valor Christian. I don't know why he's not ranked, but this kid has offers from like Washington, Colorado, and a few more Power 4 schools, Arkansas as well. I mean, they're so far out though at this point. I think sometimes they only have like 50 players ranked in that in 2 years from now. I guess it'd be a class removed now since 26 is essentially over. So they're 27. So even with 27, they're still working on their list as well. But 28, they probably have 50 to 100 kids ranked right now because it is so difficult.
Totally. But there was one guy I realized. Sorry, go ahead.
Titus Heward would be a big time get though.
6'5", 205. I love me some tall quarterbacks, but right in that range. But 2020, we have one more too. 2028 unranked free safety CJ Craig James out of Birmingham, Alabama, 6'3", 185. Another guy again who I think has good offers that we'll see how he ends up developing. And then we have one 2029 kid that got offered. We got a 2029 quarterback.
I'm looking at it like, that don't make sense to me. But
Unranked quarterback Ty Snell out of Allen, Texas,
Mhm.
6'1", 174. Do you know anything about our guy? Or
I know about Allen, Texas. I don't know anything about Ty Snell. Has he been the starter? Do you know? I mean,
I have literally no idea. I'm pulling up his page right now.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know much.
Ty Snell out of Allen,
He started
Texas.
as a freshman.
He's got offers.
Oof.
He's got Oregon. He's got Ohio State. He's got Kentucky. He's got Houston. He's got offers.
Okay. So it says he played an equivalent of 5 full games.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah. We'll have to do a little bit deeper dive, but
yeah,
he could
Allen,
be a
Texas
guy.
too. That's big time football. I know you guys are probably like, not every school is in tech.
Manny loves all schools when it comes to football.
Yeah, is he at? Let me see, Allen Eagles. Yep, cool.
So that's our update, right? So that's in total we had 17 2027 go out in the last 2 weeks. Actually, that's just the ranked guys. So then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 28 total offers in 2027 go out in the last 2 weeks, which is cool. Like I'm really like, I don't remember a time that our recruiting has been that, I'm trying to think of a word.
Dialed in.
Yeah. Like I was going to say like, volume heavy, like just so many offers going out to so many different types of guys. I'll eventually do a recruiting update with like the map and everything, but I think it's just cool. Like you have an even split between 4 stars, 3 stars. Maybe you know this question. I should have asked this to Adam, but like, do 2 stars and 1 stars exist like anymore? Like, do they just not get recruited, or is it just
they just don't rank them?
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like no one's ever been a 2-star or 1-star we've never seen.
Yeah, those are tough too. So
that's what I'm like, just change it from like to like 3-star to 2-star to 1-star. Remove the 5 stars. Like, what is the point?
I don't get it either. But yeah, I have not, man. It's probably since like the Athlon, and when it was Rivals in like the magazine.
Yeah,
that I've not seen a 1 or 2-star recruit. It's been a long time. So
totally.
But yeah, and real quick before I do want to pull something up. So just kind of that stat I was telling you guys about Pennsylvania. So it's from 2019 to 2024. So this is what I was talking about, Pennsylvania. Where is that thing at? Is it a window? Yes. So just kind of something I made, being a dork about things, I guess, nerding out hard on football recruiting.
Cool.
I made this about a year ago. But look at this area up in here. This is wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then
I had no idea.
Ohio. I mean, because you expect this, this, right? You expect the Georgia area, the Florida area, but isn't I was shocked at it. When I made this thing and started digging into it, I was like, why don't people go and recruit the shit out of Pennsylvania and this area over here? So, what you'll find too is Ohio State does a lot of recruiting there, and then it bleeds into Ohio as well. And that's why you see Ohio State, because not all the recruits are from California and all over. Ohio has some good football as well.
Yep. That tracks. That makes a lot of sense.
That's wild, though. You would never think that, though.
Not at all. You know what's crazy is, as you may know, Manny, my home state of Maine recently had a #1 pick in the NBA draft. That was super cool. I'm just waiting for the day that Maine produces any NFL talent or college football talent in general. I don't think I've ever seen a kid from Maine go play anywhere in D1. I could be way wrong on that, but hopefully one day we'll get a guy.
They have really good lobster. Lobster rolls in Maine is fantastic. So
absolutely. If you get a chance to go, only go not during the summer. Please stop causing traffic. I hate everyone that comes in the summer, even though I'm the one that goes in the summer. Anyway, I digress.
Yep.
Let's talk some all-time buffs. We got about 15 minutes left here in the stream on this beautiful Friday. Again, say it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for tapping in with us. Any likes, comments, subscriptions, super chats, like anything you're willing to help out with us and just support the show, we really appreciate. And just thank you guys for being here on this pre-Valentine's Day buff show. But Manny, we want to talk about all-time buffs that we wish could have gotten a Trinidad Chambliss, right? So like another year of eligibility just could have made a difference on their next team all time. I'm going to let you run with this, and then I'll jump in as we go back and forth.
So my first one is Rashaan Salam. So he got done in 1994. First overall pick, right? Won the Heisman. Yeah, if he would have returned for 1995, so the Buffs went, if he would have got that Chambliss year, Buffs went 10-2, finished 5th. Only losses were to KU and Nebraska. They probably win one of those. And I shouldn't say they would have, I shouldn't even have that there, but it was different back then, right? I almost forgot there was no big, because it was the Big 8 or Big 10, whatever it was called. I think it was the Big 8 actually. But they would have had, and again, this is not excusing this dude's behavior at all, but Ray Caruth, Coy Detmer, and Matt Russell would have been on that team. But you add Rashaan Salam in, and man, you wonder a little bit what would have happened with that 95 season, right?
Yep. So go ahead.
No, go. I was going to jump to the next one. I want to hear.
I was going to say, you actually listed one of mine there. I actually had Matt Russell as my first. So again, going from 96 to 97, obviously goes off to the NFL. That's wonderful. But won the Butkus Award in 96. I'm like, if I could have gotten another eligibility year there, and I guess maybe would have had, because I think he left early after 3 seasons.
Would he have had, let me see, because he's
I'm trying to think, because he was, 93. Oh, no, that's 4. 93, 94, 95, 96. Boy, so he might have had a red shirt year. Did the red shirts exist?
Yeah, they existed back then.
Okay, I'm like, I can't remember.
There's no medical red shirts, anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think another year of Matt Russell would have been super cool, and really would have helped out with that transition out of the early 90s into the late 90s.
Like it. Yeah, I like it. He was a beast, man, at the linebacker position. So I love that. I'm going to jump into my next guy. Okay. So 2015, right? That season was rough. My wife and I had season tickets from 2014, 2015. My next one is Nelson Spruce for 2016.
Nelson Spruce. Wow, that's a great poll. That's such a great poll.
So you have Nelson Spruce there, right? With the 2 right? Spruce, that whole thing. Yeah. You were in school at that time, right?
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
That was, or no, wait. I came in 2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was the years I was watching Colorado, debating about whether or not to come to Colorado. That's why.
Oh man. So that year, do they pull out that Big 12 title, right, against Washington, get into the playoffs, right? Because that's the year Washington made it and gave Alabama. It was a good game. It was never in any doubt, anything like that. But that was Myles Gaskin and who was the quarterback? And I can still picture him. The little. It's not Drew. No, it's gosh, how come I can't think of his name? Really good quarterback for him though. But his senior year, he had 89 catches for 1,053. You add him to Bryce Bobo, Shea Fields, Devin Ross, Philip Lindsay. I wonder one more player that you have to account for. So, and again, I get it's one player and it's a receiver, but Nelson Spruce was more than that though. That dude was a leader on the team. But I would have loved to have an extra year that year to see if they pull out the Big 12. And right, some of the games they lost, right? Because they lost to USC that year.
Yep.
But yeah, just kind of curious if that would have changed some dynamics there.
Yeah. So I've got one. This was actually funny enough, the first one that came to mind for me when I thought about this, because this sits close to heart with me. And I might get laughed out of the building for this. I wish Steven Montez got another year.
Okay.
Because I just think about how consistent those teams were, at least at just being like competitive, and then how the fall off came so soon after he left. Like the quarterback position the next year after Montez left was such a nightmare that I just was like, I don't know if I could have, there was enough talent on that team for me to like maybe argue they wouldn't have been 1-11, but I just feel like the quarterback position in 2021 or 2022.
Because his last
was so
2019, right?
No, I thought he was 21.
Montez, no, he was. I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
I'm trying to think. My college years got all.
No, it's okay. There was that COVID year though that was weird. That
That's
he went
the year. Okay, yeah.
So if you were to give him that year and then maybe even give him a COVID year, whatever it was,
he would have been able to play. That's what I was thinking. Correct.
Yeah.
Because he would have gotten
Because who was it? It was Brendan Lewis.
Lewis, right? Which early years, Brendan Lewis. Now is, much more polished. Shout out Brandon Lewis, but that was what I was thinking. I was like, if he could get just like the 2020 year is a wash, but like he could have gotten at least another year to ride through that would have been super cool.
Yep, I like that though. I was a big fan of Steven Montez. So
I was I wish when he got his chance with the Washington football team at the time, I really thought he was going to stick around as a career backup, but.
Dude, he had a massive arm. I remember we were watching when they just beat the hell. It was 2016 when they beat the hell out of CSU in the Rocky Mountain Showdown. He got in, and my wife and I, we were just sitting there. It was played in Denver. Dude, we were sitting there and just watching the ball come off his hand. I was like, holy shit, that dude has a can. Like, it is one thing to see in TV someone warming up to throw. But when you see it in person, you're like, holy shit, that dude has a cannon, like a freaking rocket launcher under his right shoulder pad, man. So but huge fan of his. So my last one's gonna go like it's pretty crazy. So this connects a lot of dots here, all right? So just bear with me, everybody. So 93, if he could have got an extra year into 94 was Charles Johnson. So wide receiver. So he had 57. So in 93, 57 for 1,082 and 9 tutties. The year before, he had 57 catches for 1,149, 5 touchdowns. He averaged 19.3 yards in his career at CU per catch. The wide receivers would have been, again, sorry to keep throwing his name out there, but Ray Caruth, Michael Westbrook, and Charles Johnson. QB would have been Cordell Stewart, and they would have still had Rashawn Salam.
That would have been elite.
The Buffs went 11-1 that year. Only loss was to Nebraska. So they may have beat Nebraska. Who knows what would have happened, but they may have beat Nebraska. But again, there was no Big 8 title game then. So there's a lot of what ifs here, but that team would have been really loaded. Possibly could have beat Nebraska.
Yeah, that's a great point. Really good point. All right, my last one is Nate Landman.
Love Nate Landman.
So another one I was just kind of thinking like another year, leadership, at least something to kind of hold that 2022 team together. I loved watching Nate Landman, man. That was such a fun time because I got a couple of those years. I think I got all 4 years of Nate Landman.
Yep.
That was like my favorite player on the Buffs for just all 4 years coming to those games. So I would have just loved to see another year of eligibility for him. And I think I think there was such a lost cause in 2022 in terms of the overall direction. And I think a guy like that helps to bring a team together and at least can get, a win or two above where you were.
Who was the quarterback that played? Brendan Lewis was still there, but was it Shrout?
Oh God, don't say that name.
Shrout though that got the majority of the.
So there was Brendan Lewis, JT Shrout, and the guy Owen McCown.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, Owen McCown. Yep. I remember JT Shrout though the most that year.
That was one of the worst times of my entire life.
That was awful, dude.
Watching that rotate was terrible.
Were you at that game with the Utah game when it was like cleared out?
No, I would have gone home. I was not sticking around for those games.
Yeah, no worries. One more question for you. I've never asked you this, so I've shared mine a while ago. Who's your favorite Buff of all time?
Oh gosh. So again, I was newer on the Buffs fandom, just in terms of like picked up in 2015 and doing my college search and stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to acknowledge too, we kind of like skipped this a little bit, but like we chose intentionally not to say Travis or Shador. We would love to get them another year of eligibility, of course. In terms of guys that I've watched that I've had the most fun watching, Laviska Shenault. was my favorite. Just like when I felt like we had any chance in the world when Laviska Shenault got the ball in his hands. And that's just of like my time as a fan. I think Philip Lindsay was also, again, watching those early teams, Sefa Lufau. I think those are kind of like, and Nate Landman, again, my type of guy. I loved watching Brady Russell. Really loved, like, that was always so fun with the hair coming out the back and everything. Yeah, I mean, like those are guys that come to mind with just like, I watched some terrible goddamn years of football.
Yeah, you did.
I had a lot of hope for Christian Gonzalez. I really liked watching. Oh God, who was the running back? Fontenot.
Alex Fontenot. Yeah,
Alex Fontenot. I loved watching Alex Fontenot. Katie Nixon.
Yep.
Great times. Yep. Like those teams, like there were so many like pieces there.
Just couldn't put it together. Yep.
Yeah. So it's there's names you can throw out for days.
Yeah. But... I tell my wife this, like in the early 90s into 2000s. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Like it just in the 2000s in this decade, Colorado has been shitty on the shittier side a lot. Like once you get outside of like those, Chris Brown, Bobby Purify years.
Yeah.
But my wife went to college, so she started in 2006. So it's like she goes, she leaves, they get good, then you come and they suck, you leave and they get they're
Yeah, I know.
You two are never allowed to attend the University of Colorado as a student again, just so you know.
Don't let me go back for my master's. We'll have another 1 in 11 year.
Go somewhere else. Go to Nebraska. Hell, they might.
Yeah, it might. I will say, I want to share the story and then we'll log off. I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019, the year that we started at 5-0.
Yeah,
and then went, I think 0-7, or it was either 5-1 or 5-0. We got ranked. I think we were like 23rd in the country.
Tell me this.
I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019. We had won the Mile High game. We'd beaten.
Oh yeah.
I just remember we were like, we were on the border of being ranked, and Montez was getting hype. Laviska Shenault was a borderline Heisman candidate. I remember sitting on top of my roof in my house in Boulder and thinking, oh, this is why I came here. I was like, yes, I'm like drunk. I'm like, I don't know. I should not have been on the roof.
Yep.
That classic Boulder, just like sunny day after a win. And it was so good. And that team proceeded to lose 6 of the next 7 games.
Yeah, that was 2018, I think.
I want to say it was 2018. It was one of my first, I think it was my sophomore year. Oh my God, I've never seen a collapse as hard as that team had.
Yep. I remember. Yep. Because they beat Colorado State, they beat Nebraska, they went to Nebraska and beat them.
I remember, I think they played like a New Hampshire or something. Like that was like their non-conference, like something like that. Yeah. Hold on, let me look. So they started 5-0. Colorado State, Nebraska, New Hampshire, UCLA, and Arizona State. And I'm like, let's go. Like,
they were ranked 19 going into USC.
Yes. They're scoring, the lowest they scored in those 5 games was 28 points a game. And then loss at USC, loss at Washington, at Oregon State in overtime, at Arizona, loss, blown out by Washington State, blown out by Utah, and then to end it with a crippling loss against California. I can't get over how, like, when I saw them win at Nebraska, I was like, yes, we got this. So bad.
I wonder too. So, and this wouldn't count, but I want to say the year before, right? Because it looks like their defense just started getting shredded. Or later, losing these games, it was more so on the defense, right? Up until because they lost games scoring what 20, 13, 34, 34, and then 20. So you almost wonder if Isaiah Oliver would have. If we could get he went pro as a junior, but if he would have returned, if that would have made a difference, but
maybe. But we're right at time here, and this has been a long one.
Okay.
Thank you guys, as always. I've said it a couple times today, but thank you for being here today. happy Friday. Have a safe and happy Valentine's weekend. Manny, you got anything fun planned? You don't have to share.
Nope. Just gonna hang with the fam. You?
We're gonna do some. We're gonna see a movie. We're gonna get some
Sweet.
dinner. All the classic stuff. So, but as I always say, hey, go be good buffs in the community. Don't drink and drive. Be good people. We'll see you next week for the weekly Friday show. We'll let you know if anything else comes up in the meantime. But anything else before we depart?
Nope, that's it. Appreciate you guys joining me.
Let's get it with the Go
Go
Buffs,
Buffs,
baby.
baby.
You guys have a good Friday. And we are